It's a garbage gun, okay? Yeah, oh, you might say, oh, but look, it's got rails on the front. You can put optics up there. No. Hello, YouTube. You don't typically see my face, but I'm here today. Today, we're going to be going through all of the guns in Ghosts of Tabor and ranking them on this overused tier list that you've never seen before. We have all the guns in the game. My picks might make you angry. There may be picks that you heavily agree with me on. I think we'll start with rifles first. It's what I have the most experience in. Let's start with one that's just so easy to get out of the way with, okay? A rifle that is going to make complete sense why I place it where I place it. And that gun is the AK Alpha. I think everybody can easily agree that this gun belongs in F tier. It is garbage, it's so super hard to find, it's terribly expensive, and it just doesn't have the fire to make up for it. It doesn't. So it's going in F tier. I would say that AK Alpha, especially if you couple it with an AK drum mag, the fact that it's got so many rails in different spots, we can put a foregrip on it to heavily reduce recoil. We have access to pretty much any sight we want, as well as with canted setups with the forward rail. This gun can really do it all. And it shoots those massive 7.62 by 39 rounds, capable of semi and fully automatic, which means it can handle itself close quarters and overall handle itself just fine as a sniper rifle on single fire as well. It is an incredible gun. There's a reason it's so rare and so sought after. It belongs in S tier. Let's do the AK-74. This is the smaller caliber AK. I don't know, the fact that this gun uses a smaller caliber of round, it's still a decent round, but you're gonna lack in penetration because of it on heavily or higher armored units that I just kind of struggle. I've never bought this gun in the store and brought it into raid. The only times I'll ever use this gun is if I find it and I have nothing better, or, you know, it's part of what you start with gun-wise. It's not a terrible rifle. You're never gonna see me go out of my way to grab it. So for that reason, it still will handle itself well. It's got decent semi-auto for close quarters and range, but just kind of gets outclassed by some of the other rifles that have very similar capabilities. I'll throw it in C tier. So next is the AKM. This gun is a monster. You get access to it at Trader level 2. So it's a very, very good early game gun. It basically turns the SKS into a fully auto gun, and you can still switch it back to single fire anyways. It's going to be packing those 7.62 by 39 rounds. These are those rounds that have much higher penetration and overall do more damage in general. So any gun that's going to be pumping this around, you're going to see me rate decently highly because of it. You get access to sights with it with a dovetail attachment, also known as the AK side rail. So you can put kind of any optic you want on top of that. Treat it like a sniper rifle, treat it like a close range SMG with fully auto. It can kind of do everything and pack a great punch. I'd throw the gun into A tier, easy. Next up is the AK-74U. I don't think I need to expand on this gun. It's almost identical to the AK-74. It's just got a smaller profile. And if anything, that kind of makes it a little bit more annoying for me to handle because your hands are a little bit closer together. It's just same reasons as this other gun here. I probably would never go out of my way to buy it. I'll only use it if it's better than what I'm carrying right now with a naked run. So I think it kind of belongs in C for now as well. Now, these guns might move around as we continue to go through. Let me know in the comments below if you think I've put a gun in the wrong place. Next gun, the AS Val. Okay, so this gun was a sleeper for a while on me. Like, I didn't use it very often. And on the hardcore account, because I'm forced to use guns for which I have mags for, I can't just go shop and pick up whatever I'd like. I was using the AS Val a decent amount, and the gun has like 0 recoil. Even though you can attach a foregrip to it, this thing barely kicks. And that has a lot to do with the round caliber that it's shooting. It's shooting 9 by 39, and just because of its smaller round, it just kind of is a laser beam. Even at range, we're talking like 100, 200 meters out, you can fully auto this gun and control the recoil decently well. The fire rate is decently fast. You can still switch it to semi-auto if you want. Because of the smaller caliber round, it's not going to pierce through armor as well, but it's very easy with the control of the gun to bring the nozzle to the head of your target and get a headshot. Also, this gun, it has a built-in silencer. You don't have to go out of your way to purchase a silencer. So that on top of it just makes it even better. Running around with a silenced gun drastically changes your survival rate and keeps you well hidden. Man, does it belong in A? I'm in between A and B. We'll leave it in A tier for now. Next up is the AUG. Look, this might be a hot take. The gun shoots 5.56 ammo, the same as your M4s. It's a decent round. I would say a mid-tier round. I hate it, chat. I hate the AUG. I hate the built-in scope. It's so hard to see. I have never gone out of my way to buy this gun. I've shot it a good handful of times. The only times I'll take it and use it is if I literally have nothing better in my hands. I'm gonna throw it into E tier. It might even drop down into F later. I can't stand the gun. Ooh. Next up is the golden SKS. Chat, you might have an idea, for those of you who have watched me play this game for quite some time, you might have an idea where I would put this gun. The gun is going to be firing those 7.62 rounds, very armor piercing, very beefy. It's basically two-shotting anybody to the chest, unarmored. It's fully auto capable. It has a rail on the underbarrel towards the front, which I highly recommend you throw a foregrip on there and nothing else. A good foregrip will help you control the insane recoil of this gun and actually handle it very well. Now, this gun has a particular quirk, though, that might off-put some people. And that's the fact that you can't put any optics on this. You have to use the iron sights. But what I say is become a point fire god, okay? Learn how to point fire this gun where you don't have to ADS. And in close quarter combat, this gun absolutely shreds. The fire rate is so high, it's actually, in my opinion, a better gun due to its damage output than the AK Alpha. It out DPSs it, hands down. And so because of that, we're actually going to make some adjustments here. We're going to bump everything down. I don't think the AK Alpha is even in the same field as the golden SKS. I really don't. I don't think they belong in the same category. You lose a little bit of versatility for long range encounters, but I don't think anything beats it close range. I really don't. Next, we have the FAMAS. Look, I think we can all agree here that this gun is absolutely garbage. Not because it shoots a shitty round type, not because it's a terrible rifle. It's because it's got this huge handle over the top. You can't attach any optics to it. It's garbage. ADSing with this gun is a literal nightmare. It is so bad. I will never use this gun.
FAMAS is only good for taking the Stanag mags out of.
Yeah, the one good thing they're used for is grabbing the mag out of. Gosh, do these belong in F tier? I think the FAMAS goes in F tier. It's so bad. You can point fire it and it'll handle okay, so maybe I'll keep it in E tier, but it's just so bad. Ooh. We got the G36 next. Chat, this is going to be a vote that you guys get to choose, okay? I haven't personally shot this gun very much. I've probably only shot it less than I can count on one hand. I remember it being a very excellent shot, but I don't know if I've played with it enough to accurately put it here. So I'm looking at chat. YouTube, look at chat. You see what they're saying right now? I think we're getting overall B tier as a general consensus. Does it belong with the ASVAL and the AKM? Yeah, I think that's right. This gun also shoots 5.56 by 45. We're in that same caliber. If I remember correctly, the recoil is a lot less on this gun, a little easier to control, but we'll throw it at B. The G3A1 is our next gun. A lot of you guys know where I'm putting this gun. If you're looking for a marksman rifle, anything to handle medium to long range encounters with ease, as long as you're a decent shot, this gun pretty much guarantees two-shotting anybody in the chest, even regardless of what they're wearing. It shoots a 7.62 by 51. It's an even larger caliber than the SKS, as well as the AKM. It's just a beefy round. One of the beefiest rounds that's not available in very many guns at all. I think it's only available in 2 guns total. So this gun is so good. You get access to it at trader level 3. Look at the G3A1. sitting on top with the best damage numbers in the game. AP rounds are doing 80.8 damage, while standards are 74. This is just such good proof of why I love the G3A1. If anybody's running around with 3 to 4 ticks of health missing, that's it. You'll get one shot by the G3. You will literally get one shot, and it is just a powerhouse. There are a few drawbacks to it, even though it's two-shotting anything to the chest. And those drawbacks are you cannot put a foregrip on it, and the kick is very large. So this gun really only shines at medium to long range encounters on semi-automatic. If you try and flip it to fully auto, it's going to be a mess to control the recoil at any sort of range. Now, lately, I've been put into situations where I have to use this in close quarter combat, and it's still shredding. Like I said, if you can hit 2 shots to the chest, you pretty much down anybody in front of you. The time to kill is extremely low if you can land 2 shots very instantly, even at close quarters. So for that reason, it belongs with the AK Alpha, which is crazy to have a gun that's available at Spectre level 3 be on par with a gun that is Spectre level 5. Very strong gun. One of my favorites by far, and probably most used gun. Next, we have the Galil. The Galil is going to go back to shooting 5.56 rounds. It's a great early gun. You'll find these everywhere on scavs. It gives you access to lots of rails instantly on a cheap early gun. You can put foregrips on this thing. You can put lasers on it. You can put flashlights. You can even put optics, albeit the optics are pushed pretty far forward. Makes it a little bit less effective, but still very usable. For an early game gun, shooting 5.56 by 45, our same M4 standard rounds, it actually does really well. If you're early on in the game and looking for something that you can really control the recoil on fully auto, the Galil will actually do it for you. The Galil is, I think it's, gosh, it's a high C or low B. I think it goes into the high C category. It's a good gun for early game. Next, we have the L85A2. You've heard me complain about some other stuff before. And the general consensus is if it has a fucking carrying handle on the top of it, it's a garbage gun, okay? Yeah, oh, you might say, oh, but look, it's got rails on the front. You can put optics up there. No, the rail's gonna cover the shit out of those optics. Your best chance is putting a canted optic on the front, and even then, it's fucked. It's not good. It's not a good gun. It's shooting the same 5.56 rounds as well. There's plenty of better guns to use 5.56 in that does give you access to rails, and this gun is just not it. I think, honestly, only because it has attachments. No, dude, I don't even know if it belongs in D tier. I'll throw it in D tier, but it's barely in D tier. It's very pretty much E, okay? Running with the theme of handles, the next gun shooting the same caliber round is the M16A2. It's got a handle. It's garbage. And it's stuck to semi-auto or burst fire. I honestly hate this gun as well. I won't use it unless I have nothing else in my hands that's better. You'll only really see me use this gun when I'm doing naked runs, and I happen to find it and have found nothing else. But at the drop of an eye or a pin, I will quickly change this gun out for something else. Does it belong in F tier? No, because if you can point fire it, it'll still do some damage. We'll keep it in E for now. Ooh, baby, I'm excited for this next one. It's the M1A SAS, okay? This gun is, to my knowledge, the only other gun that shoots those beefier 7.62 by 51 rounds. The same round as the G3, which means we get access to that firepower of it two-shotting anybody to the chest, pretty much regardless of what armor they're wearing. It is a monster. It stomps chads in the dust regardless of what they're wearing. It's much better. It's an upgraded version of the G3 because we get access to rails all around the barrel and a close front rail for optics. So you can put a nice foregrip on this to greatly reduce the recoil, changing a much slower semi-auto G3 into a very fast and accurate semi-auto M1A SAS. It is just insanely strong. Man, I think this gun has to go into S tier. You get access to any optics you want on it. You can put lasers, you can put whatever you want on this thing. It's just disgusting. It is a very long gun, but I think it goes into S tier because I love my G3, and this is just the better version of the G3. It is very expensive and rare for that exact reason. Also, instead of dealing with 20 or 30 rounds in your G3, you get access to drum mags on this gun, making it even more of a monster. It's... having drum mags on any gun greatly just ups its utility. Very strong gun. I cannot recommend it enough. Next is our M4. This gun is going to be shooting our 5.56 rounds. We've been talking about these a lot. We have lots of guns that shoot them. The round is inherently weaker than the ones we were talking about, but is still a powerful rifle round nonetheless. You'll just need to drive a few extra bullets into those heavier armored targets to take them down. M4 gives us access to a close top rail, as well as rails all the way around the barrel, giving us access to good foregrips. And you can control with a good foregrip the kick of this gun pretty easily, letting it handle even medium range encounters on fully auto. Couple this with a silencer, and the gun can be a sniper for you, and it can be a monster at close quarters combat. It's a very good gun. I take it all the time and use it very often. You will find mags for it everywhere, and also have access to large drum mags with it. Even one as large as 150 rounds. That stoner drum mag will fit into here, and it is insane. So... it's a very good gun. Does it belong in A tier with the AK Alpha and the G3? I don't think so. I think it's a high B. It's a very low A, very high B. It is an excellent gun. Next, we have the OP SKS. This gun's shooting our 7.62 by 39 rounds, same as our AKM and our AK Alpha, which is a very meaty round, very strong, has excellent pierce through. And overall just very high damage. I really like the OP SKS because I love the SKS, which we haven't gotten to yet, but we will soon. It's an upgraded version of the SKS. It gives us access to a close top rail for optics, as well as rails all the way around the front of the barrel. You can put a nice foregrip on here to help with the semi-auto kick, making it a very strong sniper rifle. You can build this as an excellent sniper rifle. And I think if you're good at pulling that trigger fast and point firing, or throwing a laser on the side if you like that, it even destroys close range. It does really well, even though it's not fully auto. This gun is very strong. Does it belong? I want to put it in A tier, but does it belong with the Alpha and the G3? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it needs to be a really high B tier. It's a very strong gun, but the G3 and the Alpha definitely outclass it. I think it goes high B tier, chat. So we'll shove that all the way to the left. We have the Scar next. The Scar surprised me. It's got a little bit of a lower fire rate, which helps managing the kick a lot better in comparison to the M4. So it does really well fully auto at medium range because of that, especially if you put a foregrip on that underbarrel rail that you have access to. You have access to a close top rail as well, and your left and right rails too. I really like the Scar. I think it does really well, but I don't think it does a ton better than the M4. I think they are very similar, extremely similar, with just slight differences in fire rate, and which in turn changes the kick a tiny bit. We're not talking massive differences. So I think the Scar fits very good right alongside the M4. Both guns are excellent. And they all kind of have the same capabilities. I think it's great. And yeah, the Scar will take any of the standard Stanag mags, which means you do get access to that 50-round drum, as well as the 150 if you get your hands on it. I think it belongs right with the M4. Next, we have the SKS, accessible very easily on scavs. You'll find it often, and you get access to it right away at Trader level 1 with Spectre. The SKS is something you see me use a lot in the early game. A lot. It gives us access to shooting that really beefy 7.62 by 39 round instantly, which if you're a little bit late to wipe and people are ahead of you and coming in with very kitted gear and armor, you can still hold your ground with a standard SKS. It will shred. If you're good at point firing it, you will do very well even close range. And the iron sights, once you get used to them, are not terrible to shoot even at long ranges. You've seen me pull crazy headshots at, 200 meters away, even with iron sights on an SKS. I think it is an extremely good early gun, and the fact that it's shooting those beefy rounds, it easily goes into high C. It is an excellent early game gun. If I was just rating Spectre Trader level 1 guns, it would go into S tier for reference. Next, we have the Stoner shooting that standard 5.56 round again. And this is one that chat is going to get to vote for. I haven't shot this gun very much, and that's why I'm passing the vote to chat. We will see where they put it. YouTube, do you agree with what they've said, or do you think it belongs somewhere different? Let me know. Chat's up here saying their ratings right now. Based off of the round type, it'll probably fall somewhere in B category, but then again, maybe the kick isn't very great. You can control it well with a foregrip, more so than other guns, but I feel like it's probably gonna behave very similar to the other 5.56 guns that we have here. And it looks like chat overall is giving it between a B and a C. I think I'm seeing more Bs than Cs. So we'll throw it probably in the low B tier because of that. All right. It's much more expensive if I remember correctly, and a lot rarer to find too. So, having such a rare gun only fall into low B, I wouldn't go use it if you find it. Cool to show off, but it's nothing crazy special from what I've seen. Next, we have the VSS. It is very, very similar to the AS Val. It's going to be shooting the same rounds, 9x39. They're tiny little pistol rounds. Well, not as tiny as pistol rounds. They're a little bit larger. Because of the smaller round, the kick is not so great. The fire rate is insanely fast, and you can put a sight on it, even though it doesn't have a rail. You can throw an AK side rail onto it and have access to whatever sight you want on the front. It is built-in silenced, so it's a nice gun to find, especially if you're struggling to find silencers and AR silencers, and you don't have the trader level for it, giving you access to shooting silenced and at range with decent recoil. Whereas it's not very much recoil and you can control it well. I think it performs decently well. The biggest gripe about the gun is you're stuck to primarily 20 round mags. The 30 round mags are a lot rarer to find and need a higher trader level to even access them. So you'll mag dump this gun very quickly. Where does it belong? It's probably C tier because we don't have extra rails on the front like the AS Val has. I think it can go right in the middle in C tier. It's not terrible. Well, we're gonna move on to SMGs. We are done with all the rifles. First on the SMG list is our MP7. It's gonna shoot a 4.6 by 30 millimeter round, and this gun shoots fast. It shoots very, very fast. The MP7 has a built-in foregrip as well. It's terribly accurate. It's terribly accurate, even fully auto. So it'll shred close range, especially if you're one of the people who can sweep to a head quickly. I've seen people use this gun even at like 150, 200 meters, fully auto it and get kills with it. If you can pull even just one headshot with this insanely fast fire rate, it's gonna destroy people. Even with people with higher end armor, just shred them in the kneecaps, the arms. It just shoots so fast. It shoots incredibly fast. You also get access to drum mags with it, a 60 round drum if you can manage to find it. And I just really like the gun for close quarter combat. I think it does really well. And for SMGs alone, it would definitely go in S tier if we were just looking at SMGs. But if we're looking at everything together, I think it's a low A. I think it's a low A. It's just so fun and versatile to use. You can even bring it to island and do well with it. You can put a nice optic on the top too. You get access to rails there. Throw a silencer on it for even more deadly action. I think it's just a great gun. Next up, we're gonna do the P90. Now, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this gun. The fire rate is great. The mag size is default 50 rounds on those cartridges. The damage is nice with the 5.7 by 28 rounds, but the grip points being so close to one another and compact makes it awkward to aim. You have to spend some time with it to get used to it. But for close quarters, if you're just point firing it, it does do decent damage. The fact that you can put an optic at least on the top rail, that does help a lot. I don't know, chat, where would you put this gun? Because it can put an optic, I'm thinking low B, high C now. I think low B works. I think just because of the fact that it's a little awkward to aim, oh, it might make some people mad. I'm gonna leave it in high C for now. It might change, but I'm gonna keep it in high C for now, chat. Next SMG we have is the PPSH. I think this gun is so heavily underrated. You have an SMG with insane fire rate that's shooting 7.62 by 25 rounds. It's gonna shred even armored units. The kick is very great on it, but it's easy to control, okay? If you spend a little time with it. You just learn how much you drag your forehand down as you're shooting it, and you can destroy people with it. It is one of those guns that I recommend mainly point firing for close range encounters and not using the iron sights too much and relying on that. So somebody who's very good at practicing point firing this gun will absolutely dominate Silo. They will dominate Silo. I've killed plenty of fully kitted guys, wiped many lobbies back to back with the PPSH, and its default mag is a 71 round drum mag. The fact that you have access to that many rounds by default also just pushes this gun so much higher on the list. I think it's an easy A. You guys might think I'm crazy, but it's either equal with the AK Alpha or better than the AK Alpha if you can control the kick and point fire it well. But that's dependent on user skill and ability. If you're not good at those things, the AK Alpha will give you the foregrip and an optic to help a lot with that. But I have a feeling if you were to fire both the AK Alpha and mag dump the AK Alpha and the PPSH at the same time and calculated the damage it did, even on armored units, I think the PPSH would put out more damage than the AK Alpha. The AK Alpha just has a very slow fire rate in comparison. The Alpha does have range and versatility though. Yeah, it handles itself as a sniper. The Alpha will stay high tier because of that. It's just interesting to think about its close range encounters and comparing the two because of that. But I think for close quarter combat, I think it's an easy A. It's such a good gun. It's very underrated in my opinion. Next we have the PP Bison. Who the hell uses this gun? Chat, tell me right now. Press 1 if you use this gun regularly, and then proceed to explain why. Look, it's not terrible. It does come with a 64 round mag, so your mag capacity is incredibly great, but it's shooting 9x18 rounds. It's very small caliber rounds, so you're pierced through on armor. Pretty much, you're not going to do much damage, if at any, to people with max tier armor. You're going to need to shoot those unarmored spots to do any damage, so leg meta will do well with it. The fire rate's decent on it. You can throw an AK side rail onto it to get some optics, but you're never going to be able to put a foregrip on the gun. The PP Bison. It is a very common gun and easy to get a hold of. AP ammo would help a bit, but still not terribly. Dude, no, it's nowhere close to PPSH damage. Someone in chat said that. I think it goes low C for me. Just the fact that it shoots a smaller caliber round is going to make this gun struggle in comparison to others. Look at this. Here's your PP Bison 9x18 caliber FMJ rounds. Literally no armor pen on the first 3 levels. None. Now let's go to AP 9x18. 9x18 AP is still only piercing the first class of armor. It is not piercing second or third. What do you think about that? Like, to just give you a bit of a comparison, the Agram, which is an absolute shit SMG with only a 20 round mag that shoots so fast, you'll just sneeze and it'll be out of ammo. This gun shoots 9x19 rounds, which is a higher caliber than the Bison. But the fact that it's only got that 20 round mag, you don't have access to any optics, and the gun's just kind of a shitter in my opinion. I think it's absolute dog water. You'll dump a 30 round mag or a 20 round mag so fast and not kill anything with it. It might even be F tier. It's honestly so bad. I think I'm putting our first F tier.
Can't believe you talking smack about my Bison. That's it. I'm unsubbing.
All right, Grandpa Bard, it's good to have you. I understand. Sometimes opinions are too strong and people cry. But this is my tier list, chat. It's mine. I think the Bison is pretty shit because of the rounds it shoots. It's mid shit. He's definitely mid shit. Yeah, we'll put our first gun in F tier, the A-gram. It's garbage. It is absolute garbage.
Bison rounds with tracer deal more damage than the PPSH. Explain that, streamer.
Okay, so tracer rounds, they're doing 47.8 damage, and then standard AP on the PPSH is doing 40. So 40 to what? 47. So it's 7. So we're talking about 7 points of damage different. But why don't we look at this very interesting chat? We're getting distracted. We're getting terribly distracted. We're supposed to be doing a tier list, and now we're doing math. Look at these rounds per minute stats. Okay, so the PPSH is shooting an incredible 1046 RPM. That is insane fire rate. It's pretty much on par with your vectors, both the 9mm and 10mm version, which is crazy. So we're losing 7 points of damage in comparison to the Bison, but it's shooting at 1046. Let's go find the Bison on this list. Oh, it's half. It's half of the fire rate. Okay, so the little 7 extra points of damage that you're getting per round, I am doubling your damage output by shooting rounds twice as fast. You lose. Also, actually, what are we shooting in the PPS-8? 762
when you
by
get
39.
the drop on a player, and the time it takes them to turn to you and start shooting, you are already dead.
Look, I get it. You can create scenarios of which you win with the Bison. But if we're talking a head-to-head where both players see each other and both players are shooting each other in the chest at the same exact time holding the trigger, everything is exactly the same, the PPSH wins. It just does. It just does.
Besides, just click on their head.
Well then,
Easy
okay.
clap.
Yeah, just click on their head. Then let's put the PM. Let's put the Makarov in S tier because it one-shots in the head. You know what I mean? We get into all of these like specific scenarios that make guns better than the other, but like in a head-to-head battle, I just don't see it in the Bison. I just don't. I knew. I know. It's fine. We can like our different guns. I don't even think I need to do this, but I want to drive a point home on the round type. 762 by 39 rounds if we find them in AP, which is what our PPSH is shooting. Penetrates through every type of armor class, where that 9x18 round is only piercing through the first with that extra fire rate and good base damage. The PPSH is just a god gun. It is so strong in my opinion. All right, chat, I think we were doing a tier list. We have the Looty next. Okay, they nerfed the Looty damage. It used to be the highest damage SMG in the game for whatever reason. Its fire rate is stupid fast. The kick is insane on it. Controlling it is an absolute nightmare. You're stuck with 16 round mags. Let me say that again, because probably most of you guys did not know this. 16 round mags with one of the highest fire rates out of all the guns in the game. It's bad. It's funny. It's an S tier meme gun, but if you're trying to take your life at all seriously, you will not be using a Looty. You just won't. You just won't. That being said, I've used the Looty a lot, and I think it's very funny to kill people with it because it's like it's a BM. It's disrespect. We have the MAC-10, which is the fastest shooting SMG in the game, shooting at 1500 RPM. The damage is okay on it, but you're stuck with a 20 round mag. It's this same kind of scenario where you have an excellent fire rate gun that could do really well, but you blow through the entire mag in like literally half a second. So, and with the kick of the gun as well, you're mostly going to be shooting these rounds over your target's head and into the wall or the ceiling, unless you put a lot of practice into controlling the recoil of this gun, and your mag will be empty before you've maybe done 1 to 2 points of damage. I don't know. I think it goes in E tier. Next, we have the MAT 49. Honestly, I think this gun's pretty garbage. It shoots a 9x19 round. It does have a 32 round mag, so it's a little bit larger, at least for some of these lower class SMGs. You're going to find the MAT 49 everywhere. It's a very common gun to find both in crates and off of Phoenixes. It's a good gun to use if you've got nothing else. It's an upgraded pistol in my eyes, shooting the same caliber rounds as most pistols. So I just kind of think of it as a kind of semi-auto pistol, even though it's fully auto. It's just the fire rate's pretty low. It's not terrible, but I mean, you're not gonna go to the trader and buy this gun to bring it into raid because you really like it. It's just not going to happen. So I think it goes into E tier as well. Next, we have the MP5. It's a decently versatile gun, but I've got some problems with it. You have 30 round mags, which are okay. They're not terrible by any means. You do have to deal with the quirk with an open bolt reload, unless you use the trick where you pull a round out of each mag, so there's only 21 or 29 rounds in each mag, then you can reload the gun without pulling the bolts open and leaving it open. So you can up your reload time quickly with that little tech, but we don't have access to any sights on this thing. We've got no rails anywhere on this gun, so I just don't like it very much. I gotta be honest, it's going in D tier for me. There's just too many other good options to use. MP9, this is an interesting gun. It is good, but for some reason I feel the MP7 is better. I think the MP7 has better recoil control, even though this is the next version of the MP. It's shooting in 9x19 rounds. Chat, where would you put this gun? Based off of our list that we have here. I want to say high C, low B, but what does chat say? Yeah, let's put it in C tier. It's a high C, low B. It's definitely not a bad gun. Anything you see in C tier above is a gun that you can see yourself buying and bringing into raid to use. I would say D tier and below, you should never be buying these guns. That's just my opinion. Next up is the MP40. Look, if you're an SMG guy, early game, the MP40, it handles itself well. The fire rate is slow enough that there's pretty much hardly any kick. You can control the gun well, but that's also one of its downfalls. The DPS suffers drastically because of how slow it shoots on fully auto, and it's shooting smaller 9x19 rounds, so you're going to struggle piercing any armor. Even with AP rounds, you will likely only pierce through the first class of armor. So you might buy this gun and use it. I see a lot of people doing it. It's not a very good gun, really. You just see a lot of people using it. But at its core, its damage is not great. Its armor pierce through is bad. Its fire rate is low, which puts its DPS low. You have no optics. You have no foregrips. Man, a lot of people like this gun and use it too. But I don't think it's very good. I think it goes in E tier. It's definitely good early game. No, it's not though. See, okay, we say it's good early game because we saw tons of people using it early game. But you are way better off bringing in an SKS early game. Way better off. You will two-shot anything in the chest with an SKS. You've got the same sight disadvantages. If anything, the SKS iron sights are better than the MPs, in my opinion. Yeah, I think it's high E. I don't think it's very good. Even for an early game gun, there's better options to pick from. There really is. Next, we have the Chris Vector, the 9mm version. It's a very good gun, but it's definitely outclassed by its 10mm version. You're gonna get a lot more damage out of it and DPS. You do have access to 33 round mags standard and 50 round mags for the larger ones. But yeah, you get access to the 50 round drum mag as well. Super fast fire rate. The kick is very, very controllable, and it shines a lot in close quarters combat. I do think it's a very good gun. I think I'm putting it in B tier. I think it belongs in B tier. We have the Uzi next, which I don't believe is in the game any longer, so that's an easy F tier. Moving on, we have the 10mm Vector. Everything I said about the 9mm Vector is true. It just does more damage. It does more damage because we get access to the 10mm rounds instead of the 9. It helps with pierce through. It helps with overall DPS. We have the same mag capacities. We have the top rail for sights, just like the 9mm version. I think it's a very strong gun, especially close quarters. And even with a recoil, you can still handle yourself even at medium ranges with it. So I think it's great. I say low A. It's a very, very, very good and strong gun. Next, we have the Thompson. I love using this gun. It shoots 45 ACP, which is a much larger round. They're those meaty boy bullets, the same that the ump shoots. So your damage output and your armor pierce through capabilities are a lot stronger because of it. And you get access to a drum mag with this gun. Very, very commonly found with a drum mag in raid. Early on, especially if you're doing naked runs, if you find a Thompson with a drum mag and you're doing close quarter combat, use the gun. It is very strong. So in those rags to riches situations, if I find a Thompson, pretty much will use it over anything else, because you can just fire that thing for days, not have to worry about reloading it much. The recoil is actually really nice on it too, because it's got that built-in foregrip that helps a bit with it. I like the gun. I do. Now, you're not going to see me going to the shop and buying it and bringing it in, but if I find it in raid and I've got nothing else, it is one of the stronger guns that are more commonly found that really pack a good punch. Gosh, I think it's a low C. Next, we have the ump. I used to use this gun a lot. It is a very good gun. Slightly lower fire rate for SMGs, but as much as that brings the damage a little bit down, it ups the recoil control greatly. You have access to rails on this gun, so an ump with a foregrip pretty much has 0 recoil. It is extremely controllable, and it's still shooting those 45 ACP rounds. It is a very strong SMG though. I don't think people use this gun enough. I kind of think it's a low B. I think the ump is pretty underrated. I actually really like it. The 45 ACP rounds really set it apart. Yeah, we're gonna go high C. We are done with SMGs. We're gonna move on to some pistols. We're getting close to being done here. First up, speaking of ACP rounds, we're going to take a look at the 1911. I think it's one of the better pistols. I'm going to leave it in D for now. It might change. Next is the Desert Eagle. This gun is overpowered, okay? It might make some of you upset that I'm saying this, but look, I say it's overpowered just because it's so cheap. It's so cheap to buy. Yes, you only need to be level 4, but the gun literally costs 6,000 Karunas, okay? We need to look at the damage numbers of it, because I'm actually concerned. Look at these damage numbers. The Deagle is doing 113 damage. You have 100 life, chat. You have 100 HP. The standard rounds are doing 113. That's a guaranteed one-shot, okay, as long as you hit the chest. AP ammo is doing 149 damage, which allows you to one-shot if you're hitting the arm with the damage debuff on limb damage. I'm pretty sure it's still one-shotting to the legs or the arms with that. Now, I want to quickly show you how ridiculous this gun is in comparison to rifles, okay? Remember, chat, I showed you the most damaging rifle in the game is the G3 with AP rounds. Okay? The Deagle is doing 25% more damage, if not more, than the best marksman rifles in the game. I know it's shooting a 50 AE round. I know that. And that's fine. The damage numbers can be fine and stay the same, but we have to do something about the rarity of the gun. If it's doing this much damage, it cannot be that cheap and easily accessible. I want to put it in F tier because it makes me angry. If we're rating it on how good the gun is, it's like literally the best gun in the game. It takes S tier to another level. Moving on though, we have the FN57. Very, very good pistol. Very good pistol. You can get a 20 round or a 30 round mag for it. It's going to shoot 5.7 by 28. I like it a lot. I use it a lot in Tarkov. If I am using or doing pistol runs, a 5.7 is an excellent pistol. I think it handles itself well. You're not going to see very many pistols high up on this list. I'm throwing it in C tier. Glock. The sights are so clear. Very good early gun, but at the same time, bring in an SMG that shoots 9x19 faster than the Glock and has good handling, and you're already outclassing the Glock in damage. So don't get me wrong, the Glock is a fantastic gun. In comparison to everything else on this list, it's going into D tier. We have the Golden TT. It's just golden. It's honestly a pretty... I don't like it very much. It does shoot 7.62 by 25, so you get a little bit more armor penetration for it. I think all these pistols are very similar to each other. It's going to go right alongside these 3 here. We have the Makarov next. It is the PM. This gun's absolute dog water. Easy F tier gun. It's only got an 8-round mag. The gun is so small, it feels like I'm going to crush it in the palm of my hand. It makes pulling mags out and reloading it very annoying without hitting your controllers in real life. It's shooting 9x18mm rounds. You're not going to pierce any armor with this thing. If you're using the gun, you need to tap in the head. If anyone has armor, good luck. It's not a good gun. You will struggle outputting any DPS with it. Next, we have the Ruger MK3. This gun is also garbage. It shoots a 22 round. You know how little damage you're doing when you fire this gun, and listen to the sad attempt at a gun noise that you hear when you fire it. That is direct representative of the damage you're going to be doing with this gun. There's a Smith & Wesson revolver on this list that is not in the game yet, so we're going to skip over that. Next, we have the Takarov TT. Easy. It's just not gold, so it's slightly less as good as the golden TT. All right, next we're moving into bolt-action rifles. We have the OM. The OM is doing decent damage. It will one-shot to the chest on armored units. If you happen to hit a leg or an arm shot, they will survive it because there is a damage penalty on those outer extremity limbs. AP will pierce through anything and one-shot them as well. So the OM is great. Great damage. It is deadly in the hands of someone very accurate. Because you have to work a bolt, I'm putting it in B. I think it's a really low B. Next, we have the Seiko Hunter 85. Going to be shooting 7.62x51. With AP rounds, you will one-shot to the chest if you land a nice, well-centered shot. Very good. It should pierce through every single armor type as well, but you're going to be shooting this with iron sights. I struggle recommending it. I'll use it if I find it and have nothing better, but it's very rare that you'll see me actually take this gun seriously. I think it goes in D tier. It might even be F tier. I'll put it in D tier. God, it might be E tier. I'm going to leave it in D tier. I think it's appropriate there. It's got potential, but it's not a very good gun. That's our bolt action rifles. Let's move on to sniper rifle classes. This is going to be the Dragunov for one, shooting 7.62x54 MMR. You have access to a 10-round mag or a 5-rounder, depending on what you find. You do have access to putting optics on it with an AK side rail. It's a strong gun. It's a semi-auto rifle as well, so you're not going to be working a bolt. Your time between shots is actually relatively low for a rifle. And it looks like we're doing 80 damage with AP, 76 to non. We'll pierce through any armor type with the AP, and we should pierce through most, if not all, armor types, even with standard rounds. And 7.62/54 is piercing through all except on the highest class of armor, where we get a sometimes, but that's still really good to be able to have a standard round that is piercing at least a chance through the best armor in the game. Because of that, I think it's a really good marksman rifle. You're going to have to two-shot your targets. It's either high B or low A. It's just so loud. Anybody and your mother is going to hear you firing this gun in raid. Let's go high B. Then we have the Barrett. The Barrett is one-shotting anything as long as you connect with it. Even if it's a scathing shot in the extremities, we're talking arms and legs here. It does have a debuff or a hindrance where if you're walking and ADSing with a gun, it sways because it is so heavy. I think that's fine. That's normal. It's to help counter people running around in silo using it and making it a little bit harder, because we want to see this gun being used at range in a sniper rifle as it's intended, rather than people dual-wielding Barretts in missile silo and shooting them back-to-back with laser sights on them. Hilarious, deadly, and very effective. The Barrett is very good. Is it S tier, though? I think it has to be low S tier. It's literally one-shotting anything. All right, next we're moving on to shotguns. Easy vote here on the 59OA1 Pump Shotty. They took it out of the game because of how bad it was. So easy F tier. The reason I got taken out of the game most likely is because, one, there's no easy way to reload shells into the lower chamber. The pumping mechanism and reloading itself, if you were able to put shells in there, was very buggy and wouldn't work all the time, and you'd pump it and it wouldn't shoot. It just had a lot of technical problems from a game developer standpoint, so we don't really need to talk about it much. Then we have the Saiga, the shotgun that is still in the game that gives us access to a 20-round drum. You can shoot this thing as fast as you pull the trigger. This gun is extremely versatile, okay? You can load it with buckshot and dominate inside missile silo. If you can shoot fast enough, you will shred players. Even if they have armor, the buckshot spread is so great, you just shoot generally at their head, and most players are not rocking face masks, so you will get an insta-kill headshot if one of those pellets hits the face. And the fire rate that you have with this, that is very easy to just get one pellet in the face. It handles itself in those close range encounters that I just described, and you can load in AP slugs and turn it into a very powerful rifle as well. This gun can kind of do it all, and I can't say enough good things about it. You guys want to see something disgusting? Slugs are hitting for 192 damage. Let's put that in frame of reference here. The Barrett's doing mid-200s damage. This is doing about 200 damage. We're getting close to the damage of Barrett's with slugs, okay? This is a deadly rifle that will one-shot in the chest. It'll one-shot in arms or legs with AP slugs, and it's insane. Now, slugs, and it makes sense because they're so big, will only sometimes pierce through basic armor and will never pierce through Class B or C on the higher end of armor. So you need to make sure to hit something unarmored and it'll one-shot. So you'll want to hit leg shots, you want to hit arm shots if you're sniping with this gun, and you will one-shot them every time. Man, where do we put it? I think it's easy A tier. I think the Saiga's very, very strong, and it's so versatile. I'm putting it in A tier, mid A tier. It belongs there. We have the bar next before we move on to that last rifle. It's shooting 3.6. It's a 20-round mag, very low round. It sounds cool, but the kick on it is insane. It's a very clunky and ridiculous gun to use, and for that reason, I think it goes into D tier. It might even be worse. Yeah, we'll put it in a D tier. And then the gun I forgot. The SG is going to be shooting 5.56 by 45 rounds. We're back to our classic M4 caliber. I mean, what can I say? It's a 5.56 gun. It's pretty much on par with all the other 5.56 guns. It doesn't have a bottom rail? Ugh. Ugh, look at the damage numbers on it too. Gross, man. Wow, that gun is dog shit. Excuse my language, but I mean, I think I revealed where that gun belongs now. I think it's bad. I think it goes into E tier. Probably D tier. YouTube, there you have it. I think I'm very happy with where we put guns here. S tiers are very clearly S tier. The Deagle is ridiculous. The Golden SKS in close quarter combat has insane fire rate and damage. The M1 SAS being an incredible marksman rifle and can even hand closer range encounters if you're good at handling the large gun. The Barrett's one-shotting everything. The M1's two-shotting everything. The AK Alpha, this one's probably going to get the most flack, this being in high A. But I just think there are better guns. Like the AK Alpha is very good. It's super close to being into S tier. But I think these guns just are in their own class above the AK Alpha. We have really good A tier guns with the AK Alpha being at the highest. The G3, incredibly strong. The MP7, also very, very strong. The Saiga, the PPSH, the 10mm Vector, and everything else below it. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What would you change about this list? Tell me in the comments below. All right, chat. Did you have fun with your little tier list, huh? Thank you all for watching. If you feel the video deserves it, give it a like, consider subscribing. It means a lot for my small channel. Also, I do a lot of live streaming on twitch.tv. The link will be in the description below. That's all for today. Expect more Ghosts of Tabor content. And until then, I'll see you in the field.